Hey, Go Small, Live Large viewers. Thanks for tuning in today. My name is Scott. I am your host. Today I have 3 things to talk with you about to improve your Travato experience. 1, exterior storage. 2, improving the suspension. And 3, the all-important internet access. So while a roof rack mount solution is in my future, the quick solution for getting some big stuff down to Florida to offload at home base was to use a hitch mount rack on the back. And let me give you just a quick walkthrough on this. It's worked out really, really well. Wasn't overly expensive, and what it allowed me to do is bring some big stuff down like so I bought this on Amazon, and it just hangs on the 2-inch hitch that comes with your Travato. So this is the hitch, and this is the what's affectionately called the stinger, and that comes out. This piece right here is a stabilizer hook, which is sold separately, but it eliminates the motion back and forth. You can see that there's very little, if any, on this. And the brand here is Reese Explorer. Got it off of Amazon, delivered in 2 days, about $100, and it has a 500-pound capacity. And I have a tub here full of stuff. Some additional items are going to go on a rooftop storage, and again my fancy ass cat box. I can't even tell that it's on the back of the rig. It really has been super useful. And freeing up a ton of space, which I was very much concerned about, just packing up the insides, because I'm living out of the van now. So if you're looking for extra storage space, I'll put the link in the description below. Doesn't block any of the taillights, the license plate, and don't even notice it being on the back. You know how I like measuring tape, so let's take a measuring tape to give you a little sense of how big this storage area is, how far it sticks away from the van, and adds to the overall van length. Alright, so the overall basket is so it's 5 feet wide. And let's call it 26 inches deep. And then it's about 6 inches tall. That's nice because things sit down inside the basket and keeps things from sliding around. It has a really nice railing and wire bottom, so you can easily attach bungee cords or straps or hooks to it, which is what I've done here. So the basket is sitting about 1 foot from the back bumper of the Travato, and the overall distance from the bumper to the end of the basket, let's just call it 3 feet. So the Travato's just under 21 feet, so it adds 3 feet, so 24 feet in length now, so it won't be able to fit in a standard parking spot. I noticed it takes up 2 parking spots in tandem, and for this situation here, I'm certainly fine with that. The stinger part sticks out of the hitch about 10 inches. So again, a really compact way to add additional exterior storage. So a couple other pertinent measurements here is the distance between the ladder and the rack, and that is let's say about 8 inches, 8.5 inches, and the distance from the bike rack, which is obviously folded up, is, I'm going to call it about 6 inches. So if you're stacking up this way, it won't impede or interfere with the ladder or the bike rack. However, if you stack too high on this side, which is the driver's side, you will cover the license plate, which might get into some hot water with the law, so you want to be cognizant of that. So again, I'm just really liking this external hitch-based external storage rack, and it's really serving my purpose as well. All right, the second thing we want to point out today, Travato improvements, SumoSprings. What in the hell is a SumoSpring? Well, it is a third-party add-on that stiffens the suspension. That's benefit number one. Benefit number two is it actually raises the chassis off the axles about an inch, and Travato has about a 6-inch ground clearance, so I'll take every extra inch I can get to move that body up. Just kind of show you what this is. I have really enjoyed the improvements. I did front and back, so this is what the front looks like. It wraps around the coil, and I would show you this, but it's really up under the wheel well, up inside the strut around the spring. So this is the best visual I got for this. So that's the front. Again, I did all 4 corners. And this is what it looks like in the back. And I can show you that. We'll look at that in just a second. And again, the yellow is the additional new third-party equipment. These black items are spacers, and Winnebago Motorhomes used one of the 2 spacers. This is for the back. I can actually put this in to raise the back an additional inch. We decided not to do that because I wasn't sure how firm it was going to be, so I may be duplicating labor effort here. I think I actually might go forward with this additional inch of clearance and further stiffening the suspension. This is what came out of the back. And this is original equipment here, and I'm not quite sure at what point you measure this. If it's this way, this is about 3.5 inches, or this way it's about 3.5 inches. This way it's about a little more than 5. But you can see that there's a spacer element here, very similar to this. But that's what came out of the Travato, and this is what went into it. I was very surprised on the difference in the suspension. When I went to Washington State, that was the Travato in the natural state of the suspension, and it was very soft. It rode like a big Cadillac, and it did have a lot of sway, and I knew it wasn't going to tip over, but when you did a corner somewhat hard, it did feel a little top heavy, which didn't give great confidence. And what I found having these installed prior to leaving Chicago is that it is significantly firmer. There's way less sway, and it doesn't feel top heavy nearly as much. And the ground clearance, I hadn't had a problem with that, but it just gives me a good feeling to know that I have an extra inch on our 4 wheels to get that body up off the axles. So let me show you what this looks like installed in the back. All right, so this is really hard to get to and show you guys, but you can see the yellow just right here. That's the SumoSpring right there, and it's a little more than 5 inches. I'd say closer to 6 from the black spacer all the way to the bottom. So one on each wheel in the back, and then in the front there's the coil spring wraparound serving the same purpose. So I'm really happy with these. I've driven from Chicago to Florida, 1,200 miles. Made a significant difference in the ride quality, much firmer, much more confidence in cornering, and loving the additional ground clearance of an inch. And probably will install the back additional spacers for an additional inch in the back, and it'll give it a little bit of a planing look, which I think will make the van appear from the curb a little more cool, a little more aggressive, a little more athletic. So there you go, SumoSprings. Highly recommend getting SumoSprings for your Travato. So the last thing I want to talk with you about today in this video is the internet. Now, as a digital nomad working from the road, it's crucial that I have strong internet. In fact, that was a CEO mandate that I don't want to hear about missed meetings because of poor internet. So now the good news is most RV parks say, hey, we've got Wi-Fi. And boy, do they ever have Wi-Fi. The problem is it doesn't work. The park that I stayed in Tallahassee, I was right next to the office, and it worked, but it was really slow. This park, they apparently have 3 different access points, each one with a different name and a code. And where I'm parked, which is right here, it barely even picks up the signal, let alone even logging on. So it's essentially worthless internet. So this was a big fear that I had. I went out and got a Verizon JetPack, and this is a lifesaver already. What this essentially is a hardware device that you purchase called JetPack that's purchased through Verizon. There's a charge for the hardware, I believe it's about 150 bucks. And then there's the monthly plan, and I got the most strongest plan, which is unlimited, unthrottled data that is running me $70 a month. There's a throttling plan for $60, but I wanted the biggest pipe, the biggest throughput. I'm getting about 8 megabits down and about 2 to 4 up, which is still fairly slow, but the big thing for me is to have a solid, always-on connection. I'll show you where I'm putting this. So in this cubby up here, there is an outlet, and I have the AC plug charged or plugged in there, and then I just plug this into the WiFi spot like that, and I just kind of tuck the cord in so it's kind of out of sight, and I just put the WiFi right in that spot right there, so it's always plugged in and it's always on. Now this is really crucial, because what that device does, it pulls down the Verizon cellular signal, then it turns into a Wi-Fi router. So I have my Mac connected to it, my iPad, my phone I'm leaving on my AT&T plan, so I don't have it connected. But I have established then a Wi-Fi network inside the Travato, which then those devices connect to, including my HomePods. I just walked into the Verizon store there in Tallahassee, and a very nice representative, Chave, she helped me out and did a great job of helping me with that. Got it all set up, and I literally walked out and had a Wi-Fi network in my Travato in just mere minutes. It was great. So if you need internet, get the Verizon JetPack. So we've covered 3 topics: the external storage, hitch mounted storage rack, the SumoSprings, which provides a better ride, a little firmer ride, and gives a little more ground clearance, which is great. And then using the Verizon JetPack to establish a Wi-Fi network inside your RV. So stay tuned next week. We got some really great content coming up. So if you got any value out of this video, I sure appreciate a like on the video, and that helps others find the video as well. So if you can give it a like, and please subscribe. I do 2 videos every week. Wednesdays kind of a long form, and Sundays we do a what we call Travato 60-second Sunday. It's a quick tip on Travato. So yeah, appreciate you being out there. Thanks for watching. Leave some comments, and until we meet again, I wish you to journey on. The app is called Speed Test. It's free. You literally load it. I'm just going to press go, and let's see what we get out of this. So again, this is running off the Verizon JetPack. So fairly slow this morning. Looks like it's about 3 megabits up. I'm sorry, 3 megabits down. So that's the down data speed. So not a Ferrari by any stretch of the imagination. And in some ways, that's okay as long as it's good for video conferencing. This is going to be a challenge here. This is the upload speed, so this is significantly slower than it was yesterday.